Welcome to this week's TDD Weekly Report for the week ending June 20th. This was sent to me just within a half hour last week after I'd, well, not sent directly, it was on the, posted on the Facebook page for the Dumpster Diver Report. And thank you, Pete L., for posting this. This is about the fillet lander coming back to life. That's the one that's riding the comet in towards the sun. It's going to be closest at about August of this year, which is just a few weeks away. Also, within a half hour of when I spotted it from Pete L. on the site, Navy Thomas also via phone text told me about the fillet lander waking up again. Just a little overview. It was a thing called the Rosetta spacecraft that was sent to this comet, and the comet's name is, well, I won't pronounce the comet's name, it's difficult to pronounce, but it's Comet 67P. So the Rosetta craft went out, met the comet, went into orbit around it, and the fillet lander landed on the comet. The harpoon was supposed to help it stick into the surface, but instead it kind of bounced a little bit and then went underneath an overhang. Well, evidently it's come back to life, and as of last week it actually started talking again. I guess even in the shade of this overhang, when you get close enough to the sun, even the shade's fairly bright, so was able to charge the battery up enough, and it's been talking several times since that even too. I think the last contact was 2 days ago with the craft, and this is kind of like a blessing in disguise too, because according to the people that keep track of this thing, and probably some of the designers too, if this gets over 50 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, which as it's getting closer to the sun, that may end up happening, the spacecraft is actually going to be destroyed. So it can't really endure the temperatures that hot, and because it was in this underhang kind of deal that was putting it in the shade, it kept it at a really nice cool temperature and actually preserved the craft, so may have caused it to actually live longer. And I guess we'll see if it actually survives the trip around the sun from the closest, and then they can keep on using it from then. What they're going to do so they can communicate more, this communication is just in little short bursts, so what they're doing is they're making adjustments to the orbit of the Rosetta craft around the comet, because the thing, this thing is also, besides the orbit of the craft, this comet itself is actually rotating too, so there's going to be blackouts in communication, and just trying to make it so that they can communicate better and for longer periods of time. Right now it's just a matter of maybe a minute or two, you know, and then that's all the communication they get with it for a long period of time. But they're working on this, and as it gets closer to the sun, the battery should be able to charge up a little better. I'm going to put about 3 or 4 links at least to this, and I'll put the link to the latest article I have, and then I'll put the link to the part about the fact that probably by going into, by bouncing around and going underneath this overhang, the fillet lander probably actually preserved its life. So one of those happy circumstances where a mistake ends up being a blessing. And thank you very much for sending this in, Pete L., and thank you, Navy Thomas. It's the people that watch this show that give me this kind of stuff too. If it would have been just a little bit earlier, I probably could have put it into last week's show, but it was 30 minutes after the show was already posted, so I couldn't really do much about it. But I want to give you guys at least an update, and as things happen, I'm going to update on that. This next one I just got actually minutes ago before I started the show. I got this from Slashdot, Amazon's overhauling customer reviews. If you've been following me on Facebook, a few of you follow me on Facebook, I've been having quite a hassle with Home Depot, and I always suspected their reviews were kind of skewed anyway, or not exactly really accurate. So I did a review. They requested me, I'd ordered a special product to help fix some, doing some vent running pipes and stuff like that, so I had to order a special piece to do this project, and so they invited me to actually do a review on the product that I special ordered. Well, I was not really satisfied with it. I had to do so many modifications and do so much to it that I actually gave it a 1-star rating, and I believe on this product I was actually the first person to ever review it, so they sent me back that they rejected my rating. Well, I've always been of the opinion that I think in Home Depot, I mean, at least it seems this way to me, that if a product only has a very few reviews, they seem to be more positive, and they only tend to let the negative reviews after it's had a lot of positive reviews, so it won't drive the product down. So yeah, maybe if a product's had 9 or 10 people give it a positive review, they'll let a few lower reviews through. But that's what I think, and I actually told them so much too when I mailed them back. I said, you emailed them back. I said, basically, you asked me to review it. You're wasting my time. I went through all this stuff, and then you reject it because you don't like it. And So that's what I'm thinking about that. But this is what Amazon's doing. Amazon says it's making some big changes to its product review system, one of the most heavily used on the internet and a vital part of Amazon's business. A machine learning platform will endeavor to select helpful reviews with an emphasis on more recent ones. The average score will change as well. New reviews will be weighted higher than old reviews. Reviews from verified purchasers will have more influence as well. And then it goes on. I'm not going to read the whole article to you here because it gets boring after a while if I'm doing nothing but reading. But I don't know about you, but I found Amazon to actually be, I think, the most honest and upright reviews. They'll even let reviews from people that never even bought the product. I've seen people post on there, well, I thought about buying the product, but, and then they'd give it like 1 or 2 stars. It's like, well, if you haven't even bought it, it's not even a legit review, but at least they leave it up there for you to read. And you can kind of tell, too. You can tell if a review is from a human being or not, and if somebody really puts a lot of thought and a lot of detail in it, gives you details about what they do like and what they don't like about a product. As a matter of fact, I don't know if some of you have done this, but a lot of times before I'll buy a product, like say I'm going to Home Depot to buy if I wanted to buy a Ryobi cordless drill and they have it on sale for a really good price, even better than Amazon or the same price as Amazon, I can go and pick it up today. I'll actually jump on Amazon and look at the reviews there first to see how those people liked it and what the function was like. So I've used Amazon for products I have not bought on Amazon. So I think it's always a better thing to just, more often than not, if a review just isn't totally, like somebody posting porn or something like that, if you've got a review, even if you're kind of like thinking it's, just maybe somebody blowing off steam or something like that, just let it be posted and let it stand for what it stands for and let the people decide. So, yeah. I'm kind of liking this. I think it is more that Amazon wants to, as a matter of fact, they were saying, for example, if a product upgrades itself, instead of just keeping the reviews the way they are, you should actually give more weight to the product reviews that are more recent, because if the product has been upgraded or changed, it may change people's view. It may be more positive, it may be more negative, so you want to put those reviews as a little bit more heavily weighted. So anyway, I think that's a good thing, and I'm really impressed with Amazon and their review system, and not so impressed with Home Depot's review system. Let me know what your opinion of that is. And I got a little gadget here. This is from Tech Times, and this is a gadget that's been around a while. Beats headphones reportedly contain metal weights to make them feel premium. Some guy actually did a teardown of them, and they've got a link in this article too to the guy that actually does the teardown, so if you want more detail. But what he found was the total weight of all of the parts in the headphone is 86 grams. And the functional, well, let me just read it. The metal parts collectively weigh 36 grams, while the rest of the functional parts of the headphone collectively weigh 86 grams. So it's something like, 130 grams, and 36 of it is just the weight of the metal to make them feel heavier. So I'll just read the first part of it. It has been discovered that Beats headphones contain metal weights within them to make them feel premium. The cost to build the luxury Beats headphones is only about $20, with the metal weights being added to the devices to make them heavier and feel more valuable. The reviewer, the guy that tore the thing down and actually showed all the different parts too, said that he has to admit that it does kind of psychologically, when you feel them, the extra weight does make you feel like you're getting more value for your money. I think it's also kind of, if you're thinking about it, he said the total parts that their cost of the parts was probably a total of $16.89. That's a little bit, disingenuous in a way, because I think pretty much you buy a $200 set of top-of-the-line headphones, and always I think the parts that the manufacturer pays for, as far as those parts, probably only cost them $25. But you got to figure, there's labor, there's overhead, there's promotion, there's all that kind of stuff too. You got to count in some profit for your suppliers and the middlemen and stuff like that. So I don't think that that's a way to say, well, Beats by Dre are so different than every other headphone manufacturer. I don't believe that at all. They also said that they called the quality of them crap, and I don't know. I haven't seen that by the reviews too. I mean, most people that I've seen the reviews say they're a decent set of headphones. They're not a bad set of headphones. I mean, I don't have any experience. I'm just going by the reviews. It's just that most people will argue that instead of paying $199 with Beats for the Beats by Dre, you could get a $100 set of brand name headphones from somebody else that are just as good or maybe slightly better. So I'm not saying the Beats by Dre are probably worth the money, but I also don't believe from the reviews I've seen. Now, if any of you know any different, please let me know. But I've noticed that most people don't seem to call them crap. They seem to call them decent headphones. So, and like the one guy said, some people want to pay the premium price for just the fact that, hey, I'm wearing Beats by Dre, and if it's to you it's partly a fashion statement, that's your thing. I'm not gonna put you down for that. If that's what makes the product enjoyable to you and you're willing to pay it, so be it. And last up, I'd been talking last week. I talked about a special application to identify what was it? This was to identify birds. And my friend Jesus Freak, that's his channel name on YouTube, also Adrian. I know him in real life. He said, "Why don't you actually try using the Google image search?" I had no idea about this, but the Google image search, you can actually click the little camera deal on the Google image search and actually upload a photograph and let Google try to identify it. Now I could see if it was, you can also do it with links to images and stuff like that. Now I can see if it's a link with an image, it would actually use the tags and things like that rather than the actual image itself to kind of help out. So the accuracy rates probably would be quite high. Haven't tried it yet, so what I'm going to do this week, and I would encourage if anybody else would like to try it too, and let me know, especially if you do it in the form of taking your own pictures. Pictures that have never appeared on the internet, so that there's no tags, nothing else to help. Take some pictures of some ordinary objects, like 4 or 5 ordinary objects, and see how Google is at identify them. Maybe take a picture of a bird, an insect, maybe ordinary everyday household objects, a pencil, a pen, and see what the accuracy rate is. That's what I'm going to try, and I'm going to let you know my results next week. So that's a little homework there if you care to try it, and something maybe fun to do. So anyway, thank you for everybody that's helped me out on my show this week. That's about it. Take care. I will catch you next week.